Okay. Thank you, everyone. We're on Daf Lamed Ches Amud Aleph, 31A on top. Um, thought I highlighted it. Let me highlight it. Okay. Before we get started, it's a little bit, not difficult Gemara at all, but it's a little bit of a cheshbon you have to keep. Before we get started, just a quick story, inspirational story about what a person can do with a small action. In Germany, prior to World War II, sometime, there was a fellow who the Haskalah had gotten to, which probably represents the Enlightenment got to a large percentage of German Jewry, unfortunately. And this young man was no exception. But he realized he's walking down the street, he's just very far from Judaism, and he realized that today is probably his father's Yahrzeit. He made a calculation and realized it was his father's Yahrzeit. He pops into Mincha when they're towards the end of Chazar Hashatz, and they do Aleinu, and he says proper Kaddish for his father, impressed. Yeah, he actually remembered, it was very good. And he's walking out of shul like everyone else. He did his Kaddish, got his check mark by Kaddish, and he feels somebody put his hand on his shoulder. He turns around, it's the Rav, the shul, the whole district, I don't know, whoever it was, like Bamberg, I think. That was his name. Bamberg, whatever it was. And he said, Shalom Aleichem, I see you're new here. He says, yes, I am new. How are you doing? He says, yeah, I'm saying Kaddish for my father. I don't speak too much. He says, he started praising him. Such a wonderful thing to say Kaddish for your father, respect for your parents. Nicely, you came in, you made Mesiras Nefesh. Really praised him for what he did. Yeah, he said, thank you. He walked out. He realized, that's the first time anyone really said something nice to me like that in a long time. And he thought about it and he gave it some thought. And he started creating ideas in his head. So he said, how have I strayed? Oh, look, this rabbi is so nice to me. He started coming to shul a little bit, and he started developing a relationship with this rabbi. He became religious again. This rabbi helped him get a shidduch. He got married. Eventually, had 13 children. And I don't know exactly what happened with the war and survival, where they were. But in the end, it turns out that this one man has 5,000 descendants today. This must have been more, this living descendants. This was more than maybe it was late 1800s, early 1800s, mid 1800s. I don't know when it was. But it's all because, and they're all religious, or very religious, whatever, because this rabbi took the time to care for 2 seconds, 30 seconds, to say, he could have just walked out like everybody else, but he didn't. He took the time to care. So, with one small act can mushroom into something really great. So, and where we, each word of Torah has tremendous power. So, every act we do can go a great way. Nice. Inspirational story for the May. Okay, so let's start. The Gemara is going to talk about the main topic today is the fact that when you say multiple things, you say, swear to me that you're not holding on to my pikadon, my loan, my lost object. And the person says, he swears that if he just says, I swear, if he takes an oath, he swears that he does not holding on to his stuff. I do not have it, like that. That's a single oath, single denial. If he admits, it's one korban, for a Shavuos Bikanim, for a false oath. But if he says, he swears, I don't have your object, I don't have your loan, I don't have your lost item, etc., etc. He specifies, so if he specifies, each one could require an oath. For that, or so too, if he swears to 5 people, he says, I don't have any of your stuff, in one single oath, that's one. But if he says, I don't have yours, I don't have yours, I don't have yours, that's like 5 oaths, and then he would be liable if he admits that he swore falsely. He'd be liable to have to bring 5 asham gzelos, sorry, 5 korbanos. That's what the Mishnah said, and that's going to be the topic. What are the different opinions? What terminology does he use that makes him, say to you, exactly how that works? In the Mishnah, there were different opinions, and we're going to have a brisa here. By the way, it's going to elaborate, and that's going to be the topic for today. So, 3rd line from the top. Tanu Rabbanan. No, let's start with Mishnah. Shavuos Bikadon Ketzad Tamli Bikadon Sheish Biyadcha. Give me my Bikadon to have, and he says denies it. So, the different terminologies. Tanu Rabbanan. Kalal. If you use one singular terminology for denial, we'll explain this. That all inclusive, I did not take. This needs explanation, but I'm just giving a general explanation. Eno chayav el achas. And he denies it and admits that he only swore falsely once, so he only has to bring one korban. Prat, if he details it and he says, I didn't take this and this and this and this, chayav kol achas achas. And then he admits that he swore falsely, since he swore falsely numerous individual times. He's chayav. He has to bring a korban for each false swearing. Divrei Meir. Those are the words of Rabbi Meir. This needs explanation. As the first Rashi says, "L'kamei mefarish my kolol my para." What does it mean? General expression. What does it mean specific? Well, we're going to get that further. I give sort of a general explanation. We'll see. It's a machloket. Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Rabbi Yehuda disagrees with Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda the Tana. Shvua lo lecha v'lo lecha v'lo lecha. If he responds to him, let's say there's 5 people there or multiple people there, each of them claiming that he's holding on to something of theirs, and he says, he takes an oath. I don't know, I'm not holding on to yours, and to yours, and not to yours, and not to yours. Since each of those presumably is a shua, is an oath, and he denies he's taking an oath he doesn't have, and then admits, for example, then he'd be liable for a korban, to bring a asham, a guilt offering, asham gzelos, for each of those. Okay, that's what chayiv chalachas. That's what he says. Now it's not clear exactly. It seems like, okay, if you think about it for a second, it almost seems like Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir aren't talking exactly to each other. They're saying something similar, which is why the Gemara is going to explain those 2 shitas. We'll get to it. Then there's 2 more shitas before we go to explain the first 2, right? Meir and Yehuda. Rabbi Eliezer, or the Rashash says Rabbi Elazar, whatever the case, one of those 2 tonight. Omer, lo lecha v'lo lecha, lo lecha, shvua chayav v'kolachas v'achas. We had the shita in the Mishnah, I believe. Rabbi Eliezer, Omer, yeah. The shita was in the Mishnah. That what's important is that the final, we say not to you, not to you, not to you, and you say shua, oath at the end. That is what makes each of them into a shua. The Ritva adds, based on the Yerushalmi, that it means not only did he say afterwards shua, but like the opinion before him, Rabbi Yehuda, he takes an oath, shua, not to you, not to you, not to you, and then afterwards he sums it up, shua, in the end. That has the power to make each denial, each kfira, when he says not to you, not to you, not to you, like an oath, and then when he admits, for example, he'd be liable for a korban for each denial, for each false oath. Fourth opinion, Rabbi Shimon Omer. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Shua lo lecha, lo lecha, lo lecha, shua.
I swear I will take an oath. Then that makes it more true.
Yes, that's a requirement to give each lo lecha, not to you, the power of an oath. As the Ritva explained, it has to be before and after, according to Rabbi Eliezer or Rabbi Elazar. Right. Right.
Not to you, not to you, not to you, not to you. At the same as not to you, I don't know, and I don't know, I don't know, and I don't know, and I don't know. They were separate.
Yeah, I understand that's
The wording is very important.
I don't know. Just that expression alone is strong enough to say that the person, when he's found out that he's false, he's higher.
Yeah, the lashon of the Tanna Kama and the Mishnah is shua she'en lecha biyadi, lo lecha v'lo lecha chayav. There has to be some sort of terminology. Shua, I think of every opinion there has to be some sort of. We'll discuss it further. It has to be some sort of, that's a. If it's a shua mipiatzmo, he says you're holding my thing. He swears, I swear I don't have yours, or mipiacherim, swear to me that, and he says I don't have your. So, but the general thing that they're saying here is that there has to be some sort of terminology of shua here involved. That's what that seems to be. They say.
It's hard for me to. I don't know any of you, and it's one Hashem.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Just a single denial would be one, right? Okay. So now we're going to have a discussion between Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, and Rabbi Yochanan, Machlokes, an argument about what is the opinion of the beginning of the Mishnah of Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. What is their opinion? They said lacha v'lo lacha v'lo lacha. How does that work? What's the discussion here? So here we are. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Shmuel. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines down in the middle. We highlight here for those who will be watching later. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Klalo shel Meir, prato shel Rabbi Yehuda. The what is klal of Rabbi Meir, but that which is all inclusive, and you have to take have to bring a carbon for each one. I'm sorry, didn't say that right. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Klalo shel Meir, prato shel Rabbi Yehuda. What Rabbi Meir saying as a klal is like one overarching terminology. Help you bring one carbon is prato shel Meir. Is the specific of Rabbi Yehuda, where you have to bring one for each. We'll explain this. Klal shel Yehuda, prato shel Meir, and vice versa. The general terminology that makes you only bring one carbon of Rabbi Yehuda is the specific terminology of Rabbi Yehuda, where you have to bring one for each. As the Niri Rashi, Ritva, more specifically Rashi, I think also explains like this. This is how I think I got this. I understood correctly. Like the following: if you look at the terminology of Rabbi Yehuda said, if you say Shua lo lecha v'lo lecha v'lo lecha, throw in the vav, very important vav, in each of them, v'lecha v'lo lecha v, and between each, that makes it separate and makes it so that each one is an individual oath, and then you'll be liable to be a korban when it's false for each of them. But says Rabbi Yehuda, if you don't have the vav, then it's like one long shua. Lo lecha, lo lecha, lo lecha. Not to you, not to you, not to you, without the word and in between. That makes it to a single oath, so to speak. And you would only have to bring one korban for denying it. That's the opinion. Says this is how Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel is learning Rabbi Yehuda. You hear in Rabbi Meir the opposite. Lo lecha, v'lo lecha, and each denial with an and makes it into a single denial. Says Rabbi Meir. Or you have the word just lo without any vav, that would turn it into, according to Rabbi Meir, would turn it into multiple denials.
And is an inclusive word.
And is an inclusive word. Depends how you use it. Yes. Does it and make it like inclusive to the fact that now we're actually an additional add-on shua, or is it adding on inclusive to make it one single shua? Yeah, it's complicated, but yeah, it's not so. So again, that's the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Rabbi Yehuda holds that when you add the word and, makes it individual shuos. When you don't have the word and, makes it into a single shua. According to Rabbi Meir, when you have the word and, it makes it to a single shua. And when you don't have the word and, makes it into multiple shuos, multiple oaths. Okay, let's explain further. Okay, Rabbi Yochanan Amar. Rabbi Yochanan, first one of the line is Rabbi Yochanan. A little gimel there. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Akol Modim. Everyone agrees. No, everyone agrees. When you say velo, the and, velo lecha, shu prat, then everyone agrees. Both Rabbi Meir and Yehuda, when you say velo and not, that makes it into individual oaths, individual shuas, and you would have to bring a carbon for each one. Lo nechlechu ella, bilo lecha, without the vav. Just the denial without the and, just not to you, not to you, not to you, without the and. Rabbi Meir Omer Prat. Rabbi Meir holds, according to Rabbi Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yochanan, he holds that is like an individual one. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, and Rabbi Yehuda would say, according to Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, klal. No, when you don't have the ands, it's one general thing. So this is the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan holds, well, everyone agrees when you have the word vav, the vav, vilo, it's individualized. That means you're having 5 different shuas. You deny it, 5 different denials. You swear you don't have it. And then you admit it, for example, then you have to bring separate korbanos for each one. Everyone agrees to that. But whereas just word lo, without the and, not you, not you, not you, according to Rameir, that's also specific. 5 separate shuas. According to Rabbi Yehuda, no, that would be one long shua, says Rabbi Yochanan. That's how it's learned. Okay, so according to Rabbi Yochanan,
I understand that you're breaking sentence up, like lo, or ve. So you're isolating that person, so it's understandable that it's singled out. How do you lump them all together?
as
You
well.
say that it's really a general, which could lead to the fact that it's not an issue.
At least the fact there's only a single shore as opposed to multiple. Yeah. I can make up a story.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can make something up, very American, California style.
Yeah. I prefer the truth. I didn't see the shonen on it. Yeah. 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 I remember seeing it. I don't see this svara. You come up with a svara. You say, low, low, low. There's no break between the two. This is like starting over a new thing. Low, low, low. Like what? Yeah. Maybe so. Maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Not you. Really. Not
No. All right. You said if five people. Yeah. If five.
And it's inclusive.
Right. Then there is now you're really, it's literally the vav, it's literally making out.
Yeah.
Vav.
Yeah.
It's a line, it's a wall. Physically.
Okay. Okay. It's not complex. It's a little bit hard to keep all that. Made a chart. I don't know. Sometimes it's more confusing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So. Okay. Ve'ezahu klalo. The first one on the line is klalo. Okay. There's multiple sides of klalo. The last word on the line is ve'ezahu. Ezehu. That's easy to find. Last word on the line ve'ezehu klalo shel Rav Meir. So according to Rabbi Yochanan, Rav Meir says if you say vav, if you don't say vav, and that's all individual korban, all individual denials. So then what's a case of klal? Where's the case of when you say klal? Ezu klal, sure, Meir. Shua she'en lechem biyadi. It takes an oath to you, I don't have holding on to your stuff, in the plural. That's what the Mishnah said. That's the case of the Mishnah. Meir said. Or somebody said in the Mishnah. That's the Mishnah, I think. Sorry. But that's the case. Otherwise, not. Okay. So, but my kamiflagi, and what are they arguing? What are Shmuel? What are Rav Yehuda Shmuel, and Rav Yochanan argue on? Shmuel dayik mi brisa. Shmuel infers from the brisa itself, from this brisa we just discussed in the top, the Tanur Rabbanan. Rav Yochanan dayik mi masnisin, and Rav Yochanan is dayik from our Mishnah, back on Lamed Vav base. Yeah, Shmuel dayik mi brisa. Rav Yochanan dayik mi masnisin. Let me just highlight it on the screen here. Sorry. Two Gemaras to handle at once, so challenging. We're on screen, Gemara I'm holding. Okay. Oops. Okay. Okay. My commitment. Just did that. Okay. Okay. My commitment. Shmuel Daik Brisa. Rabbi Yochanan Daik Masisa. Shmuel Daik Brisa. Shmuel infers what he holds from the Brisa. Midika Amar, from the fact that it says Rabbi Yehuda V'lo lecha prata, from the fact that in the Brisa it says Rabbi Yehuda said lo lecha, lo lecha, lo lecha. You're chayav on each one. It's prat. It's specific. It's individualized, and it would be chayav for each one. Have michlal the shmiler of Meir. That implies he's reacting to something that he heard from Rav Meir, the previous opinion. The Amar klala have that he holds. Rav Meir would hold klala have. That's velo is general. This is the opinion of Shmuel. Right. One second, I'm sorry. My Shmuel died from Bryce, Yocham died from Season Shmuel died from Bryce. Yeah, this is just Shmuel from the Bryce. Right. Have to keep the cheshbon in your head. Ameir Demer Klal Have. Varmaler Rabbi Yehuda, and Yehuda says to that, what he said Prata Have. Okay, that's what he's saying. He's saying, Rabbi Yehuda, you say, Mayor, you say it's klal, velo is one single thing. I say, no, I say velo is individualized. It's broken up. Prata Have. Rabbi Yochanan says back to Shmuel. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Tarvayu. Rav Meir Prata. No, Rav Meir holds both. Lo, velo, velo, and lo, lo, lo are both individualized. Prate habe. Tarvayu. Rav Meir Prate habe. V'amar le Rabbi Yehuda says back to that. V'velo lecha modina lecha. When he says velo lecha, I admit to you. That I agree. In that case, it's individualized. But below lecha, when it says below lecha, pliga lecha, I argue. No, that's the case when they argue. Ushmuel says back, ad da odi liflog ale la fluge. And Shmuel would say, wait a second, the way you're setting up the case, he's saying, Rav Meir says lo lecha, lo, velo is prod is individualized. And Rabbi Yehuda says lo lecha is also individualized. Well, that's strange. Why is he jumping in and commenting that they're agreeing? It would make more sense that they're disagreeing, says Shmuel. Makes more sense. Rabbi Yehuda would say, no, lo lecha is individualized. But lo lecha with the vav, according to Rabbi Meir, would be general. That's what he would say. A lot of jumping back and forth. Okay, but we'll review it in a second. But you get to it's not that complicated, but it's a lot of cheshbon to keep in your head. The numbers. It's like saying back 7, 8 numbers, no problem, right? That's how you have to remember. Rabbi Yochanan daik mimas nisan. Rabbi Yochanan infers from our Mishnah. Mitakamer Rav Meir, from the fact that Rav Meir says shuash ein lecha biyadi klala have. What did it say in the Mishnah? In our Mishnah, it says, let's see this Rashi. Stam masnisar of Meir. Rashi says when it says in the Mishnah, it's Rav Meir. What does the Mishnah say? The Mishnah says, "Shvur she'en lecha biyadi klala have." It says that's the case of a general case, one single statement. You only chayav one korban. When you say to these 5 individuals, "Shvur she'en lecha biyadi klala," I take an oath I don't have anything of yours. That's klala have. That's a general term that you only chayav one. Michlal, that implies the velo lecha prata have. If he does specify whatever it is, even below is prata have. That would be individualized according to our mayor. Disal kadaita, if you would entertain the havmina, below lecha klala hava. If you say lo lecha is with the vav, velo lecha is a general statement, one singular statement, only one korban. Hava adem mashmalan shvur shein lecha biyadi. Nashmina and shvur lo lecha. Once it's coming to tell us that, it should better tell us lo lecha, which is a greater chiddush. The kol shchein shvur shein lecha biyadi, and certainly shvur that I don't have in your hand, I'm not holding on to yours, of all of yours, is would be the case. Why did it have to give the general? If we want to teach us the klal in lo lecha is a general singular, so it should say that, which is a greater chiddush. Why did it say shein lecha biyadcha? I don't have yours in the general sense. Well, Shmuel says,
this is a time for the bet dinner.
Yeah. Is that what that's the setup of the case? Yeah.
But since you've got a scenario here, 4 or 5 people come to the making a claim, not necessarily the same, you owe me 1,000, you owe me 1,200, but it's the same guy. I'm struggling.
There's 5 people in the witness box, and there's a guy over here claiming that it's 5 in the witness
That's the
box.
standard procedure. I'm not trying to negotiate situation, but sometimes you can get defendants and or claimants together.
Right.
But it doesn't seem to come out here clearly whether
No.
this is if you have a user saying a user saying that going against one defendant.
Yeah.
No, each one has to be dealt with separately.
You're going against one guy against 5 or 5 guys against 1?
It's well, the five claimants against one guy, and his response is back to the five guys. Okay, now the Mishnah, I believe it was the previous Mishnah, told us that Shavuos Bikoden can be in court or out of court. It has to be being the faith in Shlomo. So this oath that he takes against them could be out of court or could be in court. Now, when we talk about in court, we're not b'fnei bezdin. We're not talking about the standard oath that's initiated by the bezdin. That's Shavuos Hadayanim, which is the next parak. Correct. The next parak. That's when the dayanim, the judges, say you have to take an oath. Like 3 cases of the Eraisas that they make them take an oath, which is, for example, Modem Mixas, that he partially admits, or you have one witness, or as a shomer, a guardian, if you say it's someone watching over somebody else's stuff, with your Rabbanan, assassins, whatever. So those are initiated by Bezdin. When it says in Bezdin, it doesn't mean that, the honorable judges, Rabbi Yochanan, Reish Lakish, and Rabbi Eliezer, whoever they are, Elazar, see? Eliezer, whoever that, or Bar Pluk's there, is, they're not saying, gentlemen, please take the stand, swear to the, it's in Bezdin, they're in there, they're at a ruckus, he owes us, where's my loan, they say, swear to me,
Unless the claimants are related, it's individual case.
Right. If the claimants are related to each other,
Like I owe you 100 shekels each,
Right.
and I deny it. But you're not even going to stand together, are you?
we're going to gang up on
all
you.
separate.
We'll gang up on you. Okay. See if I missed anything.
It's a loose rock. It's a loose rock. That's what's going on.
Yeah. Okay.
A loose rock. You remember that?
That's right. Okay. Where are we? Yeah, we're in the middle of the Gemara. Okay, but Shmuel, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, fourth to last narrow line, right in the middle. Vishmuel Omer, Kol Omer Velo Lecha. Anyone who says Velo Lecha, why is the Mishnah? Shmuel is addressing. Why did the Mishnah address a case where you have a klal, or he says one thing to a whole group that he's only. Why is a case where he's only chayav one shua? Why did the Mishnah say shua she'en lecha biyadi? Why I'd say it's one statement. Shmuel says, Omer kol Omer velo lecha ka Omer shua she'en lecha biyadi ma dami. Shmuel says, kol Omer velo lecha ka Omer shua she'en lecha biyadi dami. It's the same thing. The reason it says that to teach you that it's just like the other. Okay. So let's sum this up, because the next couple lines we're just going to ask some questions on Shmuel's opinion. So it's like this. There's the first 2 opinions of the Mishnah, Rav Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. Rav Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. What does Rav Meir hold? What does Rabbi Yehuda hold? Okay. According to Rabbi Yehuda and Shmuel, Rabbi Yehuda the Tana holds vilo lecha, with the vav is individual oath. Without the vav is specific oath. Rav Meir holds without the vav is specific, and with the vav is one general. That's Rabbi. That's how Rabbi Yehuda and Shmuel holds the machlokas is. According to Rabbi Yochanan, no. Rabbi Yochanan holds that Rav Meir agrees both without the vav and with the vav is a specific loan, is a specific denial of a loan, and according to Rabbi Yochanan's interpretation of Rabbi Yehuda, with the vav is individual. Without the vav is with the vav is specific individual ones, and without the vav is one general. Right, that's just the cheshbon. If I got it all right, despite my head cold. All right. So now the Gemara is going to ask a question. It's going to say the following: Shmuel holds that Rav Meir's opinion, and we hold it, as I said before, as Rashi said, it's not a Mishnah Rav Meir. So the opinion of the Mishnah that doesn't list an opinion would be Rav Meir. Rav Meir, according to Shmuel, holds that velo lecha. According to Shmuel, Sorry, just give me 1 second here. I just remember the cheshbon. Let me read it inside. Make it easier to do it that way. Second to last line. Tanan. Second to last narrow line. Tanan. Learn the Mishnah. Lo lecha, v'lo lecha, v'lo lecha. Is chayiv for each individual one. For each individual. Lo lecha, v'lo lecha, v'lo lecha. Let's see the Mishnah. And there's lo lecha, v'lo lecha. Chayiv. We said Shavuos beforehand, but the Tanakama says you're chayiv for each individual one. You're chayiv for each individual one, and so that would seem to be that it's referring to lo lecha, lo lecha, lecha, is we're saying in the Mishnah it would imply individual oaths. That seems to be a kasha on Shmuel, because how come it be an individual oath? It's be like specific oath, one general oath. So Tani lo lecha. So the correct version of the Mishnah is lo lecha, not with the vav. It's without the vav, and that's what makes it one. That's what makes you chayiv for each. So Tashma, a question from a brisa, or ask a question from our Mishnah actually, from our Mishnah. Tainli pikadom tzumas yad v'gezel aveda. There's another question. It says again, vi. Give me back my deposit, my loan, what you stole from me, and what you are holding on my lost item. That also implies that each one, those are individual ones. You're chayiv for each one. So how do we explain that? He says, Tani chumas yad gezel aveda. Learn it. Change the terminology of the Mishnah. Switch the lashon of the Mishnah to learn that it's saying without the vav. Chumas yad gezel aveda. Where's another question for our Mishnah? Tashma tainli chitin usarin afusmin. Give me my wheat and my barley and my spelt that you're holding on to, also with vavs. So how is that? It seems to be individualized. According to Yehuda Bar Shmuel, according to Rav Meir, when it says the vav, vilo lecha, vilo lecha, all the vavs, according to Rav Meir, according to Shmuel, is only chayav once, not multiple times. Rav Meir is the opposite. According to Shmuel, when you include the vavs, it makes them into one general oath. In each of these cases that we listed, it says vav, 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 and you're chayav on all of them. According to Shmuel's way of learning Rav Meir, this Mishnah we're going like Rav Meir. If you say vav, 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 it should be one oath, not chayav for achal, achas, v'achas. Yes, our Mishnah says you're chayav for each one. How could that be? Okay, so for each of them we answer, like this last one, Tani Saran Kusman, etc. We said no problem. Switch the lashon, the wording of the Mishnah. No vav. Take out the vav. So now we did it 3 times. Take out the vav 3 times. Each of the cases: wheat, barley, spelt, loan, veda. All the cases, to you. Everyone, take all 3 cases. Take out the vavs. No problem. So the Gemara asked, second wide line, second word, V'hai we just highlighted on the screen. So Gemara asks, V'hai Tana, excuse me, V'hai Tana kol hani, should be the correct lesson, kol hani shabish tani v'azil. Is it possible that the Tana, the Mishnah was learned with so many mistakes, so many corrections that need to be made? That's how you learn it. It doesn't seem to make sense. It makes one correction in terminology that makes sense, but to make multiple over and over again to answer your question doesn't seem to make sense. Ella, how do we could have to keep the lashon of the Mishnah with the vavs. How do you explain it? Because if we keep it there, keep the vavs, it seems to say when you say vi, it implies individual oaths, individual karbanos. And the way Shmuel is learning Rabbi Meir, vav is one specific one. How does that fit? The answer is Elaham Mani Rabbihi. The Mishnah is not the Tanakama Mishnah is not Rabbi Meir, it's Rabbi. So you can't ask a question on it and infer from it a question to Rabbi Meir, because it's not Rabbi Meir. The Mishnah is not Rabbi Meir. Can't ask me questions. Oh, the Mishnah says this, Rabbi Meir says that. The Mishnah is different than Rabbi Meir. It's not Rabbi Meir. How many is Rabbi? Rabbi Yehuda Nasi is the Tanakama. The Amar Lo Shana Kazayis Lo Shana Kazayis Vikzayis Pratahana. According to Rabbi Yehuda, Anasi doesn't make a difference what you say. You say kazayas, kazayas, kazayas vikazayas, prata. It's individualized. In other words, the vav implies individualized, and therefore we say lo lecha v'lo lecha v'lo lecha. Rabbi in the Mishnah, you would be chayiv for each one. You say, give me my pikadon, my loan, my gezel, my aveda, all the vavs. You're chayiv each one. Okay. So we can't ask a question to Rebbe Meir within the Shmuel. Okay. So the whole idea is we're trying to ask, because Shmuel's opinion is that, according to Rebbe Meir, when you say v, it's one big oath, not multiple. So we answer that. You can't ask a question in the Mishnah, because the Mishnah is not Rebbe Meir. So we're going to ask another question. Let's go to Aramaic class. Yeah. Yeah. Send us American. Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. 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 Before we send Rav Meir to English class, I think we should send us Americans to proper English classes. But
the English
no, we're the forgery. We're the forgers. They're half forgers. Yeah. Right. Good. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Tashma. Third to last line. Third wide line all in. Tashma. Okay. Tashma. That's a question from our Mishnah. Mididei. Tashma mididei. That's a question from what Rashi said. Rav Meir Gufei, from Rav Meir himself. It's Rav Meir in the Mishnah himself. Rav Meir Omer afilu chita osara kusemes. Even if he says, he denies wheat and barley and spelt, chayav v'kolachas v'achas. He's liable for each one. How could that be? Rav Meir says anytime there's a vav, according to Shmuel, Rav Meir says anytime there's a vav, it's one oath, not multiple oaths. Why is he liable for each denial? Carbon. So tani chita sarah kusemes. Let's learn without the vav. Rav Meir changed the lashon of the Mishnah without the vav. This relates back to my joke from yesterday. Subtle changes and lots of changes. But anyway, with one change in the gersa, we're able to get away with, so to speak. So that's fine. So Rav Meir, it's not individualized. It's not no vav. Without the vav, that means you have to bring a carbon for each one. We solved it with changing the lashon. So my afilu, what's the afilu? Afilu chita sarah. It's a regular case. There's nothing special about this. On Ravacha bered Ravika, Avacha, the son of Ravika, said, "Afilu chita bechlal chitin, sarah bechlal sarah, kusemes bechlal kusemin." Right? Even if he says chita as opposed to chitin, wheat as opposed to wheat, plural, singular, each singular grain as opposed to multiple, it still implies multiple, even though if he said singular, and that would be enough. That would be fine. Okay, so let's move on to the next part.
Are they saying that the Mishnah is wrong by saying the verb as opposed to a wheat, a barley,
Right. It means that we have to change the gear. So Rav Meir says anytime you use vav, it means one oath. And we're saying vav, wheat and barley and spelt. That's three oaths. You're liable for each one. How could that be? Rav Meir, according to Shmuel, holds that's one oath. So the answer is take out the vav. We change the terminology. No problem. Without the vav, it means it's individualized oath. You're liable for each one. But the problem is, what's the afilu even? Even this? It's a regular case. What do you mean? Even this case where you say barley, wheat, spelt. So he said it means even if you use the terminology of individual, barley, wheat, spelt, not saying chitin, you have my wheat, it implies like a kernel. It means multiple. That's a terminology. It means multiple. Or perhaps it means my pile of barley. Learn that as a terminology. That's the only chiddush.
That's the third time they've amended the text.
Right. So the first time they amended it 3 times. They said we can't amend it. We have to say the Tanakama is Rebbe. Now we said something in the Mishnah that specifically says from Rebbe Meir himself. We can't say it's not Rebbe Meir. What do you do with it? So it's just one time we have to change it. You're right. It's three times. It says wheat and barley and spelt. But it means one section of the Mishnah we're changing. So it appears that one time you can get away, so to speak. It's not the right word. At one time, it's logical that they would make one change in the terminology, in the Tigris of the correct version. But every single time to change it, that doesn't make sense. Okay, it's none. Oh, I'm sorry, Tain. We are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines from the bottom. First one I learn is Tain, as they quote from the Mishnah. Tain li pikadon, sumas yad, gezel, vedish, esh biyadcha. Give me back my deposit, loan, stolen item, and lost item. Tain li chit, and so on, etc. So Rav Yochanan, pruta mikulam mitzarefes. We're talking a case when pruta mikulam mitzarefes, when all of them together equal at least a pruta. As Rashi says, in ein lo alav mikulan ela shava pruta, if together their full value is only a pruta, a minimum pruta, mitzaref and lechayvo. That's what it has to be. In other words, any claim has to be at least a pruta. It has to be a pruta, a volume of 8 agurot. Did you say, parent? I'm not forgetting. 8 agurot. It has to be a pruta's value of silver, the weight of silver. It's copper, but it's weight, whatever. It's a pruta. Has to be a minimum together. And as the Miri says, that it doesn't mean, it means that one person is claiming you owe me these 5 different things, and together they equal 1 pruta. It's not that 5 people are each claiming a fifth of pruta. If that would be, says the Miri, that wouldn't be a single pruta. It has to be a single person claiming with all his different claims that equal up to 1 pruta. Fine. So now we get to the next topic. Pligi bar Rav Acha Ravina. Rav Acha and Ravina argue. Chad Amar Aprati Mechayev, Aklal Lo Mechayev, Chad Amar Aklali Nami Mechayev. So, like this, when you say, what's a standard way? You say, Shua, he takes an oath, She'ein li biyadi, I don't have my hand, not your loan, and not your stolen item, and not your found item, etc. So that opening statement, when he takes his denial and says, Shua She'ein li biyadi, I don't have my hand, is that a separate oath? Or is that just a lead-in introduction to the oath? We've had this discussion before. He says, you owe me my deposit, loan, stolen item, and lost item, and all those things. You owe me pikadon, shumas yad, when he says shua, that initial wording, shua, is that a separate oath? So to speak, so there are 5 oaths he's taking, or is shua just an introductory terminology? So only 4 denials that he's making. That's the machlokas. That's the machlokas between Rav Acha Ravina. Rav Acha Ravina. Right. So we're going to try to analyze this based on that. Vatani, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines up. Vatani Reb Chia, and then the line, Vatani Reb Chia, Arekan Chameshes Rechatos. He says, in this case, you're liable for 15 chatos. Vim Isa, and if we're saying that there's an introductory statement, Esrim Havoim, there's really 20, as Rashi explains. Well, let me explain it first, and it's a little complicated to do from Rashi. It's like this: there's 3 things they're denying. There's 3 things denying. He's denying that his kusmin is wheat, barley, and spelt. Well, let me read it in Rashi. It's the second wide line. Hayu chamisha tovin. Also, there's 5 people claiming from him. The masnitzin. V'chol achat tavu chitin sarin kusmin. Each one is claiming these 3 things: really, wheat, barley, and spelt. Va'omer shvur she'en lecha biyadi chitin usar kusmin. Lo lecha v'lo lecha v'lecha harei kan hesav chatas. He says, I don't have yours and yours and yours, so would be 15 in theory, right? So you have 5 people and 3 grains. That's 15. 15 denials. That's how he said it, but we're not getting into the exact. Let's say it's 15. He says it properly. Shvua v'lo lecha v'lo lecha v'lo lecha. And the vav, however he says it to make it work. Depends which opinion. But it's 15 oaths. And now if you say the introductory terminology, shvua, oath, that did not have your barley, wheat, spelt, that word shvua, oath, is an individual oath as well. That would be 4 times 5 people. In other words, shvua, oath, that's 1. Barley, wheat, spelt, that's 2, 3, 4. 4 times 5 people is 20, not 15. So according to the opinion that the word shvua, the introductory term shvua, is a separate oath, then you would have 20, not 15, on that korbanos that he would have to bring. So, it says v'imisa asrim haben, the Gemara said. So the Gemara explains, Hai Tana de prati kachashiv, de klali lo kachashiv. No, this person isn't focusing on the klal oaths that make you liable for a carbon, which is shua, according to that opinion. On the individual parts, the barley wheat spelt we're focusing on. Okay, it's an interesting way of looking at it. Yes, the word shua is there according to that opinion that shua is a separate oath. Yes, but we're not focusing on that. That's what he's saying. So we're only looking at the other individual oaths. Now, Tosas points out that he says, Harekan 15 chatos, tesvav chatos. I mentioned say chatos. For a shuas mikadon, if you deny that you're holding on to something, you don't bring a chatos, you don't bring a low of the already, you don't bring a sin offering, you bring similar, asham, a guilt offering, similar, but not the same.
Why didn't the Mishnah argue earlier that besides the 15 katas here, the carbon for a full soap? Why didn't you bring up earlier and the other sugya that we just learned that you bring up a full soap? That's carbon as well.
That's a good question. Yeah, that's basically what why didn't it bring it up by chatos? Yeah. If this Mishnah, Tosa says it is, that Mishnah is this brisa that Rav Chia is be a brisa. Why do we bring it over there by chatos? That's a good question. But as it addresses our sugya, why is it talking about chatos here or talking about asham? It's the same thing. It's also by ashamos. The same thing. We're referring it to ashamos. That's a good question. Yeah. Okay. So we then bring another brisa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Vatani Rabbi Chia. 5 lines to the bottom, right in the middle. Vatani Rabbi Chia. Rabbi Chia learned the brisa. Harekan esrim chatos. He says there are 20 chatos he has to bring. How do you get to 20? 20 would mean shua, the first terminology that he says is an oath in and of itself. Wheat, barley, spelt, total of 4, times 5 people is 20. That seems to be going like the opinion we quoted, that the shua, the initial terminology shua, before you start your shua, is in and of itself a oath. What does the other opinion do with this, of Rabbi Chia said? What does he do about that? So he answers, find the place. And answers, 4th line from the bottom. That he answers that statement of Rabbi Chia, where 20 is talking about a different case in the Mishnah, where he denies the pikadon shumas yad gezel aveda, the deposit, loan, a stolen item, lost item. So there are 4 items. You don't need the introduction of Yeshua to count as an oath. That's the 4 times 5 will get you to 20. That's how he gets to that. A little bit of a math lesson, but that's how he gets to that. Okay, 4th line from the bottom. Boy, towards the end. Boy mine Rabba. I'm sorry, Rabba. Boy mine Rava mi Rav Nachman. Rava, that's from Nachman. Hayu chamisha tovin. 5 people are claiming from him. 5 people come up to one person, like we were saying before. 5 claimers. Ramrulo. They say to him, Tain lanu bikadon sumas yad gezel veda sheyesh lanu biyadcha. Give us all back our deposit, loan, stolen item, lost item. 5 people are claiming 4. Each 5 of these 5 people are claiming 4 things from this one person. He's holding on to it. Amar le'echameh. He addresses one specific one of them. Shur she'en lecha biyadi pikadon shumas yad gezel aveda. Because I don't have, takes an oath, I don't have your deposit, loan, lost item, stolen item. And then he continues to the other ones. V'lo lecha, v'lo lecha, v'lo lecha, v'lo lecha. And not yours, and not yours, and not yours, and not yours. Mahu. What is the case here? Is he saying that? That's the case. No, that's the case. He said 5 people are standing there. He said, "Give us back our 4 items, right? Loan, etc., deposit." And he says to one of them, "You, I take an oath to you. I don't have your A, B, C, and D." And the other ones he goes, "And not to you, and not to you, and not to you, and not to you." Okay, let's throw the word shua before that. To make it work. Mahu, what's the case? Achada michayev? Is he chayev on one for all the rest of them? As Rashi said, Akol chad v'chad mihana basrai, the later 4, to below the kamar lava prata, because he's not, when he says not to you, it's not going on the individual items, the bikadon shmas yad, koi, vein kan ela chamesh chatos, ches chatos. Right. So is he saying mahu achad mechayiv? He's saying the first one obviously is liable for 4. The other one says not to you. That's a general terminology because he's within each person, right? And he's obviously chayiv for each person, but he's now referring to is each denial for the next triple a general denial for all 4 items? So he's only liable for one oath on each of them. Oh, dilma akol chada v'chada mechayiv. Switch the tape, sorry. Lamed chesed days. Just enlarge this. Don't let me. Bigger. Okay. Or when he says and to you, and to you, and to you, it's like carbon copy, cut and paste. As Rashi says, so when he says and not to you, is that one individual? So this guy denied 4. And he says and not to you. The not to you, is that a general oath? Or he's only liable for 1? Or as he says, you, not to you, lo lecha, it's like, carbon CC, it's like cut and paste, What I said before to you also. He's denying, it's like it's 4 denials to each person. They'd be liable to 20. Which is it? So let's continue to the 2 dots here again. The Tashma, the Tani Rabbi Chia. Rabbi Chia learned in the Brisa. Harei kan esrim chatos. He says you're liable 20 chatos. Hechidami. What's the case that he's talking about? You're liable to bring 20 karbanos. Id the parish. If he specified not to, that the case he's for each of the other 4 people, he said not your stolen item, lost item, etc. Is he coming to tell us, a math lesson? He's coming to teach you what it is. Obviously, we can add ourselves. Allah the low parish No, it must be when he said 20. He means the chiddush Rabbi Chia is you owe 20, and even though you said to you, each of those to you is going on all 4 of them, and you're chayav to bring for all 4 times 5 people a korbanos. If you deny it and then you admit it, each denial you have to bring a separate korban, and that's how we learn that. Okay. That's it for today. Tomorrow is an interesting daf, large Mishnah, and we'll take it from there. God willing. Yeah.
They swapped the spells between
Right.
Here in the text.
Right. Is that a singular? Oh, really? I don't know. That's a good question. I hear what you're saying. It seems the way they're learning it is like kosemet is singular and kusmin would be plural. Yeah.
It says kosemet, biflau, kusmin.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Kosemet in modern Hebrew is buckwheat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know. It could be. It seems the way they're losing it here, it's the singular form. It's a good question. I have to go down to the health food store and see how they label the stuff. Yeah. Then they changed it. Yeah. That's the way it seems to be wording it. That's how the flow is. And the flow seems to seem that way.
It's general and specific.
Yeah.
General